You write about North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. You've been questioned several times on this in the last couple of days because you've issued a retraction. You said that it shouldn't have been in the book, this passage, that it was a mistake. Why shouldn't it have been in the book? Is it untrue?
No, what I said is that when this was pointed out, that we made an adjustment to what the content was in the book. I've met many world leaders around the world. I've been to the DMZ. I've been traveling for years and years talking to world leaders. Just that name should not be in the book, and I'm not going to discuss those personal meetings.
Your spokesman told Politico that the world leaders' names were conflated in the book. What does that even mean?
What it means is that I've met with many world leaders, many of them.
Did you meet with Kim Jong Un?
Some of them are in the book, and some of them are not in the book. And that when this was brought to my attention, I immediately took actions and asked to have his name removed.
But why did you remove it? Is it because it's untrue, that passage?
No, this is something that I think I'm not going to talk about. I don't talk about personal meetings with world leaders, and I'm going to continue to stay there.
But clearly, if you're taking it out of the book, it's because it's untrue.
Well, I've given you my answer, no, and that's not the answer. I would say that, this is something that I asked to have adjusted and have the content and that name removed, and that is truly what the action has been.
You said when you learned of it, you immediately took action. You recorded the whole book and the audiobook. You read this whole passage out loud. Why didn't you take it out then when you read the audiobook?
I've traveled for years. I've been involved in policy for almost 30 years. And so I've gone all across the world. I've met with world leaders.
So you didn't realize when you recorded the audiobook?
When it was brought to my attention, and I asked the publisher if they would remove the name, and they did.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. When you posted pictures and video of yourself recording the audiobook. When you recorded your own audiobook, you didn't notice this passage?
I'm not going to discuss about my meetings with world leaders.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you about recording the audiobook.
Did you want to talk about something else today?
No, I just wanted to know. I mean, we're just trying to get a straight answer from it. This has been...
Well, you did. And I took responsibility for it. The buck stops with me. This anecdote, I should not have put in the book, and I asked to have it taken out, and it is.
Okay. You were one of many in Florida this weekend at a fundraiser that featured nearly everybody who has been mentioned or is hoping to be considered to be Donald Trump's vice presidential running mate. He got up, the former president, and made comments about each and every one of them. About you, he said, quote, "You are somebody that I love. She's been a supporter of mine, and I've been a supporter of hers for a long time." Do you still think you're in the running to be vice president?
Oh, I don't know. I've told President Trump that he needs to make sure that he picks someone who helps him win. Because every day that he was in the White House when I was governor, I was able to be on offense for the people of South Dakota. So I want him to be successful. I'll do all I can to be helpful with that. And the only person who will make that decision is President Trump. He will decide. And when he makes that decision, I think we all should get on board to make sure that we're doing all we can to put him back in the White House so we can turn around this economy and help our families that are struggling so much with inflation and rising gas prices and grocery prices. And this unrest we see not just within our own country, but across the world is something that we need a strong leader for.
As you know, he is not on speaking terms with his first vice president, Mike Pence, after Mike Pence refused Trump's request that he refused to certify the 2020 election results. Do you think Mike Pence did the right thing that day?
I wish Mike Pence would endorse President Trump. That's what's frustrating for me right now, is that by Mike Pence not endorsing President Trump right now, he's basically endorsing Joe Biden. And that's just hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that Mike Pence is sitting on the sidelines when so much is at stake in this country and around the world. The world still looks to us to be the leader of the country, to be the one who sets the example and to lead the world. So my hope is that Mike Pence will endorse President Trump soon, because it's critically important that we're unified and working together to make sure that we take back the White House.
Right, but you didn't answer my question. Did Mike Pence do the right thing or the wrong thing on January 6th?
I don't talk in hypotheticals. The law's changed. That situation will never happen again because the law's been changed. So I don't answer hypothetical questions.
It's not hypothetical. I'm just asking you.
It is, because it'll never happen again.
But
so in 2020,
what he did that day.
Looking back that day, I wasn't in the situation. I didn't have the information he had. I just think that Mike Pence today is making the wrong decision by not endorsing President Trump.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.